Hi everyone, we're here at Conneaut Lake Bar Park and we're doing another program for my dog and me for Armstrong. And our guest today is Chelsea Wheeler and her dog,
Greta,
who is a Australian Shepherd, right?
Yes.
Australian Shepherd. Robin Peterson is also with me, and Robin, you're going to ask all the questions.
Well, I won't have to ask too many questions.
Okay, here we go.
Chelsea is very apt in her breed. Greta has her collar on, so
yeah,
her collars are so itchy. So I don't wear my collar very often, Mama. It's itchy. So, Chelsea, tell us, how old is Greta?
Greta just turned 4 in June.
4 in June, okay. And Greta is our first dog in our breeding series, in our breed series, I think, that is actually a breeding dog. She had her first litter this past spring.
Oh, did she?
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about her litter.
So she had 8 puppies, 5 boys, 3 girls. They were super fun.
Yes, and a lot of work too.
They are.
They're very much a lot of work.
I actually kept one of her daughters for show prospect, but they all went to homes in different states and they're all doing excellent. Very smart.
Have you shown her?
Just in Raleigh.
Just in Raleigh.
Yep.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the Aussie breed. I was, I do my little research here. I have my little cheat sheet, and I noticed that they're ranked 16th out of 194 breeds on the AKC site. I also was very surprised to learn that they're not from Australia.
Nope.
But yet they are Australian Shepherds.
Yes.
So explain that to me.
Well, they were bred just for herding, and they actually named them the Australian Shepherd because of the coloring is based on why they're Australian Shepherds.
Okay.
They're actually from the north or western states in America. So.
Okay, so when I was looking up some information on them, they were based off they said they were based off a dog that actually came from Europe, France, Spain area.
Yeah, like a breed or breeds.
Yes, and
over there.
And the people that used them used a different type of a shepherd. And the man who liked that brand of shepherd he was from Australia and he moved to California. So that's why the people thought that the breed was an Australian breed. But they used, Sue will like this part, they used border collies and collies. To make the Australian Shepherd. So could you stand her up for us so that everybody can see her? Now her coloring, she is called a
Blue Merle.
A Blue Merle.
And how many different colors do they come in?
They come in blue and red Merles, black tries, red tries, black bi, and red bi.
So 6 different ones?
Yes.
Okay.
And she does not have a tail.
Nope. They're standard. They can have a natural bob tail or you get them bobbed.
And what was her situation?
Hers was bobbed.
So how long are they? Just a regular sized tail?
Yep. Well, actually, some of them carry like partial gene. Like my litter, I had 3 that had half tails. So they weren't quite natural bob, but they were half tails.
Half tails, okay. And the reason people always want to know, why do some dogs have docked tails and other dogs don't? So for this breed, they are a herding dog and they're a working dog. And the reason that they do this is for safety, because if this dog had a tail and she was chasing a wolf away from a pack of animals that she was herding, the tail would be an easy handle for that, and it would be a way that they would get caught up in a fight or whatever. So it's safety reasons that they don't have tails. I found it interesting that their nickname is a cowboy's herding dog.
Yep.
So you find a lot of these Aussies on ranches and in rodeos and that kind of thing. But it's also our first, in this series, our first quote-unquote American-bred made dog breed. So that was interesting. So tell us a little bit about the standard for them.
So their standard, you want a nice flat top line, real strong, because that's important for what they do. You want their shoulders and their pelvis even with, they have a slight angle in the back and shorter hocks, so it's easier to get down and herd.
Okay.
They're supposed to be just a little bit longer in length than they are in height.
Okay.
And then their head and ears, their muzzle should be shorter than the top of their skull, and they have nice triangle ears that lay forward.
All right. I always thought she was very pretty.
Well, I just noticed that I've seen many Australian Shepherds, but you could actually take a knife almost and cut her right down the center because she's almost exactly the same on both sides. She's
Yep.
very pretty.
Thank
Some of
you.
them are very blotchy.
Yes.
She's not blotchy at all.
Yeah.
What about all the puppies? Did they all have the full white collar?
They did. Yep.
Did they?
all? Yeah, because that is actually part of the standard is to
Really?
have a nice collar. Yeah.
She
You
can-
don't want
she
to
can
go and
sit.
past the withers.
Sit. She can just sit. And
Yeah,
relax.
you don't want to go and past their withers because that's considered a mismark.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which we actually had one. He wasn't quite a mismark, but his hair laid just a little bit back farther. So,
Well, now what about the eyes? Because do they all have the blue eyes? Or do
it's
they have
hit and
blue and
miss.
brown? Okay. What
Yep.
did yours have? What did the puppy? What's this one have?
She has a blue and a brown
A
eye.
blue and a brown. Okay.
Her daughter has one blue and one amber colored. It's kind of like, I don't know,
They're
greenish.
good girls. Yeah.
Girl.
Look at my eyes. She said she just turned so everyone could see her pretty eyes.
And then the solid eyes were brown or amber in the other boys.
Do they ever have two of the same?
Yep.
Two blue eyes. Okay.
Oh yeah, you can get two blue eyes. It's kind of just a luck of the draw
Oh,
what
yeah.
you
Yeah.
get.
What's her personality like? She seems so nice.
She is a goofy girl. She loves to go on walks and go to the barn.
Oh, the
and
barn.
yeah, I know, sit. We're not going there. She loves her new baby brother, and she just
So good
loves-
with kids.
Yes, she is. She loves her green squeaky ball, and she's just an outgoing, fun girl.
She loves to work.
Yes, she's a working girl.
Yes.
She loves to work.
Chelsea used to be my assistant at school, and she also has taken classes with Greta. And Greta is accomplished in rally obedience. She holds titles there. And this dog loves to work. She just wants to keep busy. And that's something that you need to consider if you're looking into getting an Aussie. They have a pretty high need for exercise.
Yes, they need a job.
They need a job. They have a high drive to do what they do. AKC even warns in their
Yes.
description of them that they're not for the casual pet owner.
No.
That they need to be for people who are very active, because she needs to have daily exercise.
Yes.
And you need to keep this brain busy, because this brain is
If they're
very well developed.
Yeah, if they're not busy, they'll become destructive in your home, and
Yeah.
you won't be happy with your dog.
Yeah, and they need to be challenged. You have to challenge them. Yeah, laying around on the couch all day is not really their thing, but she does have an off switch.
Yes.
That's what is really nice about Greta. She will work until Chelsea asks her to stop. And, but that's the thing. She can be in a heightened state of high work, and then Chelsea can say enough, and Greta will stop.
How many Australian Shepherds have you had? This is your first?
Nope, I had one other before her, which was Ziva. She was my second, and now I'm on my third.
Why do you like them so much?
I love their energy. I'm a busy person. I love their intelligence. Just the way they are a very companion dog. There's not a moment I'm alone in my house. They follow me from room to room, and I just enjoy every minute that they're with me.
What about grooming?
They do need grooming. As you can see, their hair is like medium length and very thick. They do shed, so if you don't like hair, not your recommended breed. I groom her about once a week, just brushing with an undercoat rake to get that dead hair out, trimming their paws, around their face, and then their tail.
And nails always.
Yes,
nails
always nails, yeah.
But this is grooming that you can do. You don't have to take her to a groom shop.
No.
Okay.
I do it.
Right.
Some people might.
Right. But not unlike little dogs that need haircuts.
No.
She's more like a golden type groom that you can do at home. Okay.
What type of health problems do they have?
So health problems, they're very sensitive to certain drugs. They have a mutation gene that like ivermectin, ACE, the sedative, and there's a whole list. They're very sensitive. They could have seizures if they have that gene.
We talked about that with the Shelties. Remember that was
Right.
the HDR1 that
MDR1.
or MDR1.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sorry that they should screen for.
Yep.
Yeah.
They do have a couple cancers, the hemangiosarcoma and the lymphoma.
Okay.
Eye cataracts and eye problems are common. However, if you do genetic testing, you can prevent.
Did you do genetic testing before you bred her?
Yes.
Yes. And hips and elbows.
Yep, hips and elbows.
Yeah. What about collie eye? Is that
Yes,
something
that is
What is
something?
it?
Collie eye.
Oh, okay.
That was
Yes.
something else that I saw on the website for them that you have to screen for.
Yep.
So their temperament. AKC says their temperament is kind of middle of the line as far as they're not very timid, but they're not extremely outgoing either.
Yes. I socialized her a ton when she was growing up, so she loves people. But at her home, she does bark when visitors come because they are a very guarded dog.
I was gonna say, can I walk in your house? What would she do?
She would have her little ruffles up, but she would just be barking.
Just
along.
barking.
Yeah, and just a little bit of standoff until I was like, oh, hi, Sue. And then she's, okay, Mom said hi, we're good.
Yeah. So overall, this breed of dog is recommended for an active family.
Yes, very much.
A very active family, but good with children.
Yep.
They did say the strong impulse to herd. I thought it was interesting on the AKC site, and that is where I get my information. And there is other sites out there that will give you information, but I thought it was funny because it said that the strong impulse to herd includes birds, dogs, and kids.
And children.
Yes.
And kids.
We went through that with her.
So when you first brought Gavin home, was she very, very interested in him?
Yes, she was.
Yeah.
She was very much interested. She kind of treated him like a puppy, one of her puppies, when he would cry.
And how old is he?
He is 8 weeks old.
Okay, 8 weeks old.
So when
He's ready to go to his new home.
exactly. So when he cried, she went into a little bit of a panic mode at first. But now she's checks in on him. Like if he makes a fuss, she'll go over, check on him, kind of look back at me like, he's okay, Mom.
Yeah, or come get him, please.
Yes.
Yeah. Good girl, Greta Jean. Good girl. Okay, anything else that is about her breed that you think people should know?
I think we kind of covered all of it.
Sue, do you have any other questions?
No, but
for-
I'm looking at her, I'm getting a front view and she's gorgeous.
She is very
Thank you.
gorgeous.
She's
Yeah.
very, very
So much.
pretty.
So this was the breed that I considered before I got into Goldens.
Really?
It was going to be an Aussie or a Golden, and I landed on Goldens. But
She's very pretty.
But I fell in love with Ziva when you brought Ziva to class,
Yes.
and then Greta was a no-brainer, and I can't wait to meet Tori, and I will meet Tori next week. I met her when she was very little because I went to see the puppy
And how
shows.
old is Tori?
8 months now?
Yeah, but I haven't
She's a
seen her
fun
lately.
girl.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
high energy.
So, well, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
I very much appreciate you bringing Greta out for us to
You
meet.
did.
And Greta, could you look towards the camera and show everybody your pretty face? Greta, maybe not. There, we'll let Mama showcase you. There you go. Good
See your
girl.
ball? Where is it? Good.
Hey, thanks very much
Thank
for
you
coming.
very
in.
much.
Really
Thank
appreciate it.
so
Thanks. The second breed we're going to do today is a Yorkie. And this is Happy. And Happy's owner is Sherry Spangler, and we thank Sherry for bringing Happy in today. So tell us a little bit about Happy. Maybe you and I should switch so you can get his face towards the camera, because he's such a cute face.
They're happy.
So let's talk a little bit about a Yorkie.
This is Happy. He is a 6-year-old Yorkshire Terrier. He is quite large for a Yorkshire. Most breeds, most types of this breed are between 5 and 8 pounds, but they can go as high as 15, and that's exactly what he weighs, is 15 pounds. He's a very spirited, very good hunting dog, a squirrel hunter extraordinaire. He loves to go hunting in the woods.
You said squirrel.
Squirrel. Yeah, if I can't get him to go outside, just say squirrel, and he runs for the door. They're very bold, courageous. They're not afraid of anything, which sometimes doesn't work out so well for them when they go nose to nose with a bigger dog.
What colors do they come in?
All,
And this is the most standard one, or the
he's
most
actually a
typical
little
one?
darker than most. All Yorkies are born black and tan, and then they keep the tan head, and then they get the steel blue color back here.
Oh, all right.
For show quality, they have to have the tan head, which there can't be any tan back here, just on the paws, and their hair has to part in the middle, all the way back. And as you can see, I keep him cut really short because we swim a lot and we're in the woods a lot, because they do require a lot of grooming, brushing. If you let the hair grow longer, they actually have a hair that's almost like human hair. They're very good non-allergenic breed. They don't shed, very minimal shedding.
Oh, they don't shed very much at all?
No.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And this is why I got this breed.
Oh, I see, okay.
I
A lot
got-
of people have seen them with the real long hair on both
Yeah.
sides. You've got the
It's not
functional cut like
practical for me
Yeah.
because we're very active in the woods and swimming, so it's just not practical for us. And he doesn't really like to be combed all the time. But he's a good little dog. Terriers you really have to work with them. They're kind of have a mind of their own. And
When I-
as Robin knows, when we came to her obedience class, he was at, I think, the bottom of the class, but you passed.
no. Was it?
No. So we have an inside joke. I'll probably get nasty emails from Terrier people, but we say Terrier actually stands for terror. Not because they're bad dogs, but they're tough. They're tough and they're very, very independent. They have a mind of their own, and they'll do what you're asking them to do when they get around to it. It's always
Exactly.
their timing, not yours. But it's what they were bred to do. They had to be a tough little breed. Most terriers are ratters or varmint dogs, and they're bred to go down tiny holes and bring out what lives down there. And there's a fight involved in that, and they're not going to willingly come out of that hole. So they're really, really tough dogs.
A lot of people think that they originated in England because of the Yorkshire name. They actually originated in Scotland. And they were actually descendants of 2 types of terriers, a Clydesdale Terrier, which was the show dog, and the Skye Terrier, which was the hunter. So they're a mix of those 2 types of terriers, the show dog and the hunter.
A Skye Terrier is very different in structure than a Yorkie. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
They're descendants from those 2 breeds in Scotland, and the merchants
Sit here, boy.
made their way to England, and they made a lot of wolves, and they had these clothing mills, so they brought this breed to keep the mice and rats away in the mills.
Well, let's get back one other question about the color, because I'm still intrigued by that. So they start black and tan. Now, other ones can be more black than he is?
I had my first dog, Benji.
Okay.
This is the only breed I've ever had, was completely black.
Okay.
He's like a mix. He's like a gray. Now my new little Yorkie I just got is the steel blue. Typically, you'll find them with the tan heads and paws and the steel blue all the way down, and the most pronounced color at the very tips of their tails. The steel
What
blue.
about the ears? Because some have down ears and some have up ears.
I keep mine, a lot of people will let their hair lay on, they don't trim. I keep him trimmed. It's easier for the ears to come up. They do come up, I think he was about 6 months old when his came up. And they do come up because they have muscles in here that have to mature
Okay.
to hold these ears up. And if you don't keep all this hair trimmed, it helps them, it's harder for them to
Come up with all that down there.
Yeah, so
Okay.
we keep
But some people's, some Yorkies' ears never come up. I mean, they're down all the
Some
time, right?
don't. I
Because
just-
people don't, do they cut them or are they,
I
I'm
don't
not
think they
sure.
cut them, I
Okay.
think it's just, some dogs don't. I mean, I've seen different breeds of dogs with one ear up and one down.
Yeah.
But it's not a real common thing. I knew he would be a bigger Yorkie when I got him because he weighed 3 pounds
Oh.
when I got him, so I knew he
Yeah.
would be a bigger dog. And we have a lot of fun.
But so what is the average size of a litter of a Yorkie?
The number of dogs,
The
it
number
can
of
be
puppies in a
anywhere
litter.
5 to 6.
That's a big
And
litter for a small dog.
they're very tiny. For instance, the Yorkie, my third Yorkie was only 1 pound when I brought him home.
At 8 weeks old.
So at birth, I think he was about 8
1
ounces.
pound, what's that, about like this?
My breed are born at that size, close to that size. They're
Yeah,
born at close to
absolutely.
a pound. So that's amazing, yes.
And they do have, Yorkies are prone to health issues, namely the collapsing trachea, which is why we see harnesses always. I always like to see the harnesses on them. No collars. The luxating patellas in the knees
Okay,
are very
yes.
common. And tooth decay because they
Right,
create
small dog.
a lot of tartar on their
small
teeth.
dog.
So I use an all natural spray. We do a spray every night at bedtime, and his teeth are beautiful. He's never had a dental.
Okay. Do you brush their teeth or do
I
you just
tried,
use this
and
red
he-
handed?
I don't do
He
that
didn't
well
want
either.
any part of that. We did try.
You should start with your puppy now.
Well, he's not
The
a puppy.
puppy,
He's
he's
not a
4.
pu- oh, he's
I
a rescue.
adopted him.
Oh, okay.
If you start when they're a puppy,
Yes.
you
Yes.
will have a good chance of
Yes.
succeeding. But he actually likes the spray. It's all natural. One spray at bedtime,
And it
and
keeps him
he
nice and
he
clean.
has really nice, pretty white
That's
teeth.
really. What's their energy level? Are they a high energy? That's
Which
what we
suits
need
me
to
because
know.
I'm very high energy, hyper. So it's interesting. You'll see that dog owners tend to seek out breeds that match their personality. At least they should when they're
Right.
looking for a dog. And these dogs need to go to the groomer. They can't go just, their hair will just keep growing and growing. They have to go to the groomer every couple of months. And I think a lot of people adopt these dogs not knowing the expense it's going to entail when they adopt them, because you have to go get their dentals if they need it and get them to the groomer and all that stuff.
Well, I think Sherry, you have touched on the things that we are really trying to get out to the people out there about the different breeds of dogs, and because people see a small dog and they think, oh, a little dog and it's going to sit in my lap and we're going to watch TV and I just want a little dog to cuddle with. And he does do that for you. However, the rest of the day is not sitting on the couch and cuddling.
Oh no.
Because he's a very busy boy.
The minute we go out the door,
Yes. So these are high energy little dogs. And like Sherry said, they do require a lot of maintenance. It is to the groomer every 5 weeks.
yeah.
At
We
least.
go every couple months.
Okay, so 5 to 6 weeks to the groomers. Dental is a major thing. And as in a lot of the small breeds, we're seeing this patella right here, their knee joint is an issue and it needs to be protected. People think little dogs, it's okay, they can jump down from high places. You really should not let them. So they are a high maintenance little dog, and they're not a couch potato, even though he is a toy breed. It's not really a dog for somebody who doesn't have a busy lifestyle.
There's been a lot of interesting stories about Yorkies because they are so courageous. There have been stories of Yorkies that have saved their owner from a bear just by distracting and pulling the bear away from his owner. Of course, it meant its demise, but it did. They're that courageous that they'll actually go up against a black bear.
I haven't met a terrier that's afraid of anything.
No.
I just haven't.
Now this dog, this particular Yorkie is afraid of fireworks. So we
Sound.
use a thunder shirt
Right.
and that helps.
Right, yeah.
Thunder shirt.
Yeah.
How many have you had? Yorkie, 4.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I
this
love
is-
the breed. This is number
Who,
3.
Benji was 1.
Benji was 1, then Chachi.
Chachi, which you just
Little
lost
tiny
how long
one.
ago?
Just September 1st.
September 1st, so that's number 2. Now you've got this,
I've got this
crazy one
this
here.
happy. And I just adopted a 4-year-old Yorkie from a rescue. And
Was the rescue just a general rescue, or was it a rescue that had a lot of Yorkies?
it was a general rescue.
General rescue,
He was
okay.
found on the street with some sort of a wire around his neck and very poor health. He had to have 15 teeth extracted, and obviously whoever did have him wasn't able to take care of him properly.
Wow.
But he's all mine now and getting lots of love.
Now this one likes the boat.
Oh yeah, he swims. This one, and a lot of people.
Does he have a life jacket?
He doesn't wear it. When he was little, I tried to put a life jacket on him, and he tried to bite me a little bit. But he swims like a fish, and he loves the water. And a lot of people are surprised when they see Yorkies swimming, but they're like kids. We've done this from the time they were little, and even my new little one I've had out there on the boat, he's 4 years old. I didn't even know if he could swim. He can swim.
Yeah.
Well, I think I've seen pictures of this one on a raft. Or was that Chi-Chi, the other one I saw on a raft?
Yeah, on the raft.
You in the middle of Conneaut
Yeah.
Lake with the dog on the raft.
they
That was
love it.
typical.
So life expectancy 11 to 15
13 to
years.
16 years.
Wow, that's really good. That's
And
really good.
both of mine died. Benji was 14, and Chachi was just 2 months shy of being 14. But there have been Yorkies that have lived. The oldest one that I'm aware of lived to be 22. So they
Amazing.
can live, but they frequently will lose their sight and
Yeah.
some of their hearing,
Old age
as
stuff.
we do when we
Right,
get old.
right,
But
right.
he's a fun dog. He just loves to hunt. He would be totally happy if we went out in the woods every day and stayed in the woods.
Good boy,
He
Abby.
loves it. He
Good.
just
Now, do you have to put him on a leash when you go out places, or does
There's
he?
places I go where I can take him off leash. Where we go in this trail back in the woods that I found that nobody seems to know about.
Oh, good. Let's not tell
So we're
anybody.
not telling anybody the
And
location of that.
he's a
no.
really cool little dog. He'll run off leash and chase a squirrel and then comes back to me. He does not go more than probably 20 feet, and he's always turning
Boy.
around to see where I
Good
am.
boy, that's
If he
a
catches
good boy.
something, will he kill it?
He caught a chipmunk once, and I
Killed that.
pulled it out of its mouth and tossed it.
Instinct would say
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
But if
I
you,
would
but
think so
he,
too.
I think they would just shake it.
Yes.
Probably
Yeah.
shake
I
it.
had a dog that was one shake, and the varmint that he caught was dead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of the thing.
What else should we know about these little Yorkies? Anything else important? You've told us
Well,
just
you
about
have to
everything.
really watch their weight. You can't give them, they're cute, they're little. You think, oh, I'm going to give them a lot of treats. They balloon out very fast.
Yeah, all dogs, that's the thing with all dogs. An overweight dog, no matter what the
And
breed is, an
especially
unhealthy
with their
dog.
knees, you cannot. My veterinarian was very happy when we lost a pound. We were
Goodness.
trying to work a little bit on that with healthy snacks and like they love little baby carrots and green beans. He loves green beans.
Yeah.
So we try to stay away from all the snacks you find in the stores.
And Happy's also one of our therapy dogs.
He
He's
is.
part of Positive
And
Delivered.
when Sue asked me about him being a therapy dog, I said, oh, there's no way he's going to be able to do that. And he has surpassed every expectation I ever had. And we just love going on our visits. And when I put his little vest on, I say, come on, we're going to work. He loves it. He
And what's
loves
the one thing he does sometimes whenever we go someplace? He barks.
Yeah, and Sue,
Barking.
but we worked
We're
on
getting
it.
better at that.
I found a way to divert his attention.
Good.
That's all it takes.
All I did was put a little tiny training treats in a little tiny plastic box and put them in
So
my
you
pocket.
tap it.
I just tap that and it immediately diverts his attention.
Perfect. See?
And I said, I gotta figure this out because Sue's yelling at me. So,
I did. I said, you gotta get him under control.
yeah, and he's,
Well, he's darling.
once in a while he'll bark, but he does much better.
He was very good.
He's a talker like me.
Yes. Well, we had no problem with
Good
you
talker.
having questions answered, so you did a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you
so
very
much
much.
for knowing your breed inside and out. It was.
You know, other people should be able to do this. If you have a certain breed, you really should know
You
as much
should
as you know
research
about
your
this
breed
one.
before you get it, which
Exactly,
I did. You gotta
which
do your
is
homework.
why we're doing this
Otherwise,
program.
it can end in a disaster, primarily for the dog.
Exactly.
The dog tied out, when sometimes with a bigger
These
dog, or
cannot
in a
be
shelter or
outside.
something
They
like
can
that.
never be left outside.
Right.
They have hair. They don't have fur.
Right. Right.
Okay, well, thanks very much. We
Thank
appreciate
you
it.
very much.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Our third program today is going to be with Krista Hebert and her two Rotties, and introduce your two Rotties to us.
This is Cash. He has a long registered name as well. And this is Kaiser, who also has a long registered name. But they're both registered Rottweilers. I got them from a kennel out in Indiana.
Okay, so how old is Cash?
Cash is 8 years old.
And how old is Kaiser?
Kaiser is just a year old.
Okay. All right, so how much does Cash weigh?
Cash is 92 pounds.
And how much does Kaiser weigh?
104.
Oh my
And
goodness.
how big do they get?
They can get taller. The Cash is 25 inches tall. Kaiser's about 24 inches tall, which is right in the breed standard.
Great, great. So I asked Krista to bring both of them because you're going to see a pretty big difference between the two dogs, not just in size, but in appearance of their muzzles. And you'll notice that Kaiser has a tail and Cash does not. So we want to, in a minute, we'll stand them up so that you can see that difference. Cash just got totally in my lap before we turned the camera on. So we want to show you the difference between the two boys. So tell us a little bit about the history of Rotties.
Well, they are one of the oldest working breeds. They originally were descended from the Mastiffs that traveled the Roman soldiers.
I didn't know that. I didn't know they were Mastiff background.
Yes. When they came over the Alps into southwest Germany, they then bred with the native Bernese mountain dogs and Greater Swiss mountain dogs, which really accounts for some of their appearance. That area later became Rottweiler, which is where their name comes from.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I didn't realize they had the Mastiff background. The Bernese makes sense with the black and tan. That really makes a lot of sense. So Rotties are ranked number 8 in popularity of the 194 breeds of AKC. They tend to get, we have a joke that says, if you own a black dog, you own a devil dog. If Krista was out walking her Rotties and somebody else was out walking a different colored dog, people would pet the other dog before they would pet the Rotties because for some reason people are just very standoffish and afraid of them.
Afraid of black dogs.
Afraid of the black dogs, totally.
Not the Rotties of it, but the black dogs, really.
But
Rotties
that
too.
too. And they are a really loving breed. As I said, he was just totally in my lap before we turned.
So we had to start over
We
again.
had to start over again. He has been known to, when he loves people, his affection is to sit on them. He's done that to me in class before. He's just a little nervous being here, though. His tongue is starting to get kind of wide. Before we go much further, we're going to explain Kaiser. There are toys behind him, and he really wants to play with them. We're going to explain their collars because we know that there are people out there that don't understand certain training collars. Now, again, repeat how much Cash weighs.
He is 92 pounds.
And Kaiser.
104.
Okay, so we have two dogs here that are pure muscle, and they weigh 90 pounds and 104 pounds. To walk a dog like this, Cash is very apt in his heeling, and yes, you are. And Krista can heel him off leash, and he does not deviate from her side. He is very well trained. He's a very good boy. However, all it takes sometimes is the right kind of distraction, or another dog coming into another dog's space that can cause an issue sometimes. So because these dogs are so powerful, it is advisable that you have some type of power steering on them in case they would drive ahead of you. Because if these dogs decide to go somewhere in a hurry, Krista is not going to be able to hold them back. They're just too powerful. So the collar that Cash is sporting is a type of a choke collar that doesn't pull their hair, correct?
I've never seen one like that.
Yeah,
And
that's-
all the choke, I've seen the nylon, and I've seen the chain ones, but I've never seen one that's all loose, and that's
Yes.
why it wouldn't break the hair.
It doesn't break the hair.
I've never seen this.
Right.
This is called a fur saver.
Yeah.
Fur saver.
Fur saver.
And you
yeah.
can see if there's nothing there to actually pull or do anything like that.
Right.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. And Kaiser is wearing a prong collar. And a prong collar cannot overclose like a choke collar can. And since he's young, you would not want to put him on a choke collar at this age because he's still young. He's a very big boy, but he's a young boy. So you wouldn't want that collar to overclose and put pressure on his trachea. So this collar can only close so far. And the prongs are not sharp like people think they are. They're very dull. And on his neck, nice and loose like this, it's just a collar and it doesn't do anything. It doesn't cause the dog any kind of discomfort. But if he would happen to pull, if Krista would give it a quick pop, it would offer a correction to him and cause him to not pull. And in Kaiser's case, he just has to know he's wearing it. And he's very good. So this is for safety, both for him and for Krista. As you can see, these dogs are not in any way, shape, or form mistreated at all. He doesn't even care that collar is sitting there, do you?
So what's the breed standard? How big can they get? They can get huge.
They can get huge, and that's really out of the
The standard.
realm where they should be, yes. 22 to 25 inches is normal for a female. 24 to 27 inches is normal for a male. The female should run about 80 to 100 pounds, and a male approximately 95 to 135.
What about the coloring? Is the coloring a certain way?
Yeah,
They look like twins.
they should have rust or mahogany markings, and there's actual descriptions of where those should be and what they should look like. You know, the dots above the eyes are pretty characteristic of a Rottweiler. The triangles on the chest.
Right.
But overall, they should be a black dog.
The muzzles are so different. His muzzle's a lot longer. His muzzle's a lot
Can you
wider.
see how short
His
his
is short.
muzzle is compared to Cash's muzzle? And how broad this head is. This
a
head
big
is
boy.
amazingly broad. I'm going to turn him to the camera and see his head. Kaiser, sit.
Now, what is odd is
Look at the broadness of this face. Kaiser.
Kaiser's head is almost a perfect representation of what the breed standard is supposed to
His
be.
head is.
Yes. Look at how broad this head is and how short his muzzle is.
Look how massive the head
It
is.
is. It's just massive. It's just a massive head and this jaw. Look at this jaw.
I wonder how much power they have in that jaw. They
Oh, my
don't
gosh.
Sometimes they say that jaws on certain dogs have this much of a bite or power
Right.
to them.
Yeah.
I would imagine theirs is just so powerful.
They have one of the strongest bites of a domesticated dog.
Wow.
We'll let you lay down for a few minutes. And then we're going to show off your tail.
I believe they have said a wolf and a hyena are the only thing that's been tested as stronger than a Rottweiler jaw. But I don't remember what the bite pressure is supposed to be for them.
The coat is so different. Is it because he's young? Which one's the young one? This is
This
the
is
young
young
one.
one.
Yes,
So
he
he's
just
done
lost a
something
lot
good.
of his puppy fuzz in the last.
But look at the difference here. I mean, there's a lot more waviness in this one, I think. Is
Yeah.
Is it just my imagination?
No, he can be wavy whenever whenever he gets damp or has gotten a bath. And wavy is acceptable, curly is not.
Okay.
And are they like I know in my breed, we don't get our adult coat until they're 2. Is that kind of how it is for Rotties?
Yeah, he
So-
just shed a lot of his baby coat out.
Yeah.
Because he just turned a year old, so he's very
Baby.
young.
Everyone see, this is a
Baby.
baby.
He's huge.
He's just a year old. He is a baby.
In fact, he was kind of a little coarse up until just recently. Now he's starting to kind of get a little bit softer coated, but he was in that kind of awkward stage between, puppy coat that's really soft and adult coat. So
So tell us, what is their purpose? What are they bred to do? What were they designed to do?
they were originally used for herding. They herded a lot of the cattle that came with the Roman soldiers.
Okay.
As the railroads became more popular and there was less need for them to herd, they began to be used as carting dogs, drovers, and the butchers in Rottweil used them to take their meat to market. They also would tie their money to their neck on the way back to keep it safe.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody's coming near this one.
would be taking the money off of their necks.
But the butchers bred them to be a very useful and powerful dog because they would be pulling. Toward the end of the 18th century or 1800s, they became almost extinct because they weren't needed in their, their area of expertise as much anymore. And so, in the early 1900s, the German police service started looking for dogs they could use, and they tested the Rottweiler and found them to be very apt at the things they needed. A strong dog that was intelligent and could be trained. And so they became a police dog at that time. They are used for search and rescue. They're still used for some police work in countries overseas. They're a great companion.
And when bred and raised properly, they're a very silly, fun dog. They are very calm within their circle, but they are wary of outsiders.
Yes. Cash is a much more serious and subdued character.
Except for at class now. we broke him.
Kaiser is a clown.
Yeah. Well, Max is a clown too. Your Max is a clown.
How many Rotties do you have?
I have 4.
You have 4. And these are, how old are these two again? This one is 9.
Cash is 8.
8.
And Kaiser is 1.
Okay, what do we have at home?
I have a 9-year-old, that's Max, and I have a female, she just turned 2.
And she's your breeding one. You breed with her.
So Max comes from the same line as Kaiser. He's sitting on my foot. Max comes from the same lines as Kaiser does, and Max's head is enormous. It's like this big.
Bigger than these two?
Yes, but he's older, so his head will get bigger. But I just want to showcase his tail, because we don't see Rotties with tails. Now stand, Kaiser. Kaiser, stand. Now you're not gonna, you goose. Come on. Sit. Look at, okay, then fall down and show me your tail. Look at the length of this tail. It's long, it's really long. And he has his tail wide.
He is an import from Serbia.
Okay.
He cannot dock overseas.
Okay.
So it's considered.
So all the dogs that have come over from
Come here, Kaiser.
Serbia or other places like that are Rotties come with a tail.
Boy, there's your tail.
And how old are they when they come?
He was.
Taking me off camera, buddy.
I got him when he was 4 months old. He came over when he was two months. So the breeder I bought him from kept him for a few months, made sure that everything was okay for his health and his temperament and whatnot. And then she offered him for sale, and I purchased him.
What age do they dock tails?
It's like just a couple days old.
Yeah.
A couple days old.
Yeah, it's done very early, like just
You know what I noticed? They don't slobber much, do they?
Well, you can have.
I'm not getting wet, that's what I'm.
Yeah.
And I have a problem with slobbering dogs, and they don't slobber much.
Cash is a dry mouth dog and doesn't slobber much. He does slobber a lot.
Well,
I'm glad
he
he's
has
on
all these extra. Look at
Those
these.
jowls, look at that.
Look at these jowls. Look at this dog. Look at these jowls that he has. Look at all this extra.
You
heat
really
that he
do.
has.
Yeah, this one here doesn't have that.
I could put my head inside his face. I could. But again, this is just massive power here. The muscle that these dogs have. So exercise. How much exercise do they require? So if a person lives in a second floor apartment in a city, is this a good breed for them?
If they get them out and walk them, take them to a dog park or whatever, and make sure they do give them exercise, they would be fine. These guys are couch potatoes in their home, but they also do. Cash likes his balls. He likes to
tennis balls,
right?
Yes. Hunt Cash.
And he will chase them and hunt them and seek them. But Kaiser likes more to chew hard toys, like an antler or a nylon bone. But he plays with his companions at home as well. We do let them out to run. Usually,
You have acres though.
yes,
You have
we
acres.
farm.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll put them out to play together. Like Kaiser and Reagan will run and chase one another and exhaust one another.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
That was just amazing his ears. Look how he holds his ears back.
He's a
He's
little
listening.
nervous.
And he's
Is that
listening.
nervous he's
Yeah.
doing that?
Yeah, he's.
Because they're almost like they're glued to his head. And
Yeah.
I'm sitting here looking at him thinking, wow. you know.
He's so fun.
They should be, and you even let yours pull back a little bit, they should be hanging.
I thought, yes.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
that.
he is a
There
roar
you go.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
like that.
He just saw something or heard
Yeah.
something in here.
Yeah.
But when they get nervous, they pull them back, or when they're
In trouble.
Yeah, or in trouble or perturbed. My female will pull hers back. She looks like she has no ears.
What are the health issues that they have?
They have hip dysplasia in the breed, elbow dysplasia. They can have eye problems
So hips, eyes, and elbow clearances you want,
and heart.
and heart.
And
Okay.
now there's a genetic disorder that's been coming up. They call JLPP, and they recommend you test for that as well.
Do you test as a breeder? Do you test before you breed?
You should. It's a recessive gene that can be passed if another dog carries it as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Cash is loads of fun. We love him in class. He's to watch these two work together. Their bond is amazing. They're phenomenal. They're like one unit, much like Sharon Miller and Victor were, and Sharon and Ezra are now. So I'm excited to see the bond between Kaiser and Krista grow. But the power in these dogs it's just amazing. And they are silly. Oh my goodness, they're clowns. They're so fun. They're so fun. So grooming, much grooming, just brushing of hair.
I don't think I've bathed Cash, but maybe twice in all the time I've had him. He's a very clean dog. He's a little messier. He likes to run in the mud, but he still doesn't like
But
to
he's
get
a baby.
dirty. Yeah. And so he keeps himself very clean as well. When they shed, I brush them. But he doesn't
Kind
really,
of low maintenance on that.
yeah, he doesn't have a lot of hair that falls out, and he hasn't really been a big shedder either. So.
Which would have been another plus for the police work
Mhm.
because they're low maintenance on grooming.
Right.
So what is their life expectancy?
8 to 10 years.
That's sad.
Yes, cancer is prevalent in the breed, and they've been working overseas with some genetic testing to determine if there's some, kind of a genetic connection or familial connection that they can catch and maybe breed out. I've been lucky to have some live longer than that. My Zeus was 15, and then he ended up with cancer as well. Reagan, well, she's young, but Roxy was, I think, around 12.
How many of these have you had?
Oh my, 10 or 12.
Have you really? Wow.
Yeah,
Cool.
we've rescued some as well. These two came from breeder. We've rescued some from the different kennels around.
I would think that they end up in shelters and kennels because people have no clue what they're getting.
Yeah.
And many people are very fearful of them.
And they get bigger than they realize. I mean, they are the most adorable little puppies. They almost look like little bear cubs, but they grow quickly.
You'd have to have a big couch.
Yes.
Yeah, you would have to have a big couch.
Anything else, Robin, you want to ask?
No, I got my couch time today.
Well, I'm a collie lover, but if I was going to have a dog that has this type of temperament, I'd go for a Rottweiler. I love them. I think they're beautiful.
Well, I love this guy right here. I fell in love with him a few years
I
ago.
like the color.
He's
That's what I like.
my cash man.
Well, thank you very much, Krista, for coming in. Really appreciate it, and thank you for bringing in Cash and
Kaiser.
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 Okay, thank you.